The promise of batteries from trees, seaweed solutions, and COP28 controversy. Aden Flaherty and Ming Chun Tang in January 2023 stated that this year will be hot. The El Nino climate phenomena is set to return by mid 2023, which will likely be enough to send global warming over 1.5 degrees Celsius. In this special January 2023 news roundup, we cover the latest temperature record, natural climate solutions, greenwashing, controversies, and more. Number one, landscape news. Last month, world leaders sealed what was hailed as a historic deal for the planet at the COP15 Biodiversity Summit in Montreal. The global agreement to protect the nature was signed in Montreal. Deep in the Amazon jungle, ecologists are discovering a network of lost cities dating back some 1600 years. Here is what we know about them so far. Meet these 7 change makers restoring the earth. Our new restoration stewards and their teams will receive funding, mentorship, and training to restore ecosystem around the world this year. And lastly, here is quick guide to the most important climate events to attend in 2023. Climate. In the aquatic winter for the northern hemisphere, at least 8 European countries have seen record high January temperatures, forcing ski resorts to close mere weeks after severe winter storms affected some 250 million people in the US and Canada. Last year was the hottest on record in the UK, Ireland, France, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, and Portugal. In the UK, the heat was made 160 times more likely by the climate crisis. Globally, the past 8 years have been the 8 hottest years on record, with 2022 in joint 5th place. And even if we could limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, the world would still lose up to half of its glaciers. In more positive news, the ozone layer is slowly healing and is expected to fully mend by 2066. This year will also see scores of climate lawsuits go to trial across the globe. Pupil. We are living in a new age intersecting global crisis. The business leaders, politicians, and academics all think so. German police have removed hundreds of protesters, including Greta Thunberg, from an abandoned village that will be razed to make way for the expansion of coal mine. 2 environmentalists have been murdered for opposing an iron oxide mine in a nature reserve in Honduras, one of the world's most dangerous countries for environmental defenders. Half of the world's 7,000 languages spoken today are set to die out by the end of the country. The climate crisis could seal their fate. Planet. The climate crisis could wipe out almost two-thirds of Antarctica's plants and animals by the end of the century, including its penguins. Likewise, most of the sharks and rays that live around coral reefs are endangered, and their demise could have serious knock on effects on their marine life. The ocean could become the ocean could become a casualty of the climate crisis, but it could also be a part of the remedy. Underwater seaweed forest help absorb carbon dioxide and cover an area twice the size of India. What if batteries could grow on trees? Scientists are hoping to start developing sustainable batteries out of lignin, the polymer that makes trees woody. Business. Hundreds of banks and financial institutions pledged to achieve net zero emissions of COP26 in 2021. Today, these institutions are still investing hundreds of billions in fossil fuels. How impactful are carbon offsets? A recent investigation calls into question the effectiveness of a leading provider's practices, revealed more than 90% of the rainforest carbon offset by biggest certifier are worthless, analysis shows. Investigation into Vera carbon standard finds most are phantom credits and may worsen global heating. Nowhere else to go. Alto Meo Peru at center of conservation row. Greenwashing or a net zero necessity. Scientists on carbon offsetting. Carbon offset flawed, but we are in a climate emergency. ExxonMobil scientists have accurately predicted global warming since the 1970s, but that has not stopped the oil giant from publicly disputing its own findings. Now it is suing the European Union over its energy windfall tax. India has banned the import of plastic waste since 2019. So, how did one city become a dumping ground for recycled waste from North America? Policy. This year's COP28 Climate Summit will be led by the CEO of one of the world's largest oil companies. The US and the European Union have endorsed the appointment, which has sparked outrage from climate activists. Brazil's new administration sees the return of Marina Silva as Minister of the Environment and Climate Change, while Sonia Guajra is the country's first ever Minister of Indigenous People. Pakistan has now received over $9 billion in aid to rebuild from last year devastating floods. India will invest $2.39 billion in the production of green hydrogen. The US is set to ban the shark fin trade and has approved the world's first vaccine for honeybees. Please subscribe it and like it and do favor. Thanks.